What's up, y'all? It's Von Graves here from Columbus, Ohio, and you're watching Zebo. So Usic is a play on undiscovered music. This is probably like 2015, 2016. I moved out to Los Angeles just as an artist, just trying to make it. And, ended up stumbling into an opportunity that allowed me to, it really forced me to stop doing music for a while and work for like a tech company essentially. So I got into like apps and app development and things like that. But in that, the more I started learning about Spotify and learning about the success of like these apps and how much money they were making, but also how they were using artists' music to make that money and stuff. It really just got my wheels turning and really kind of had me wondering about how do we use that to empower the artists, because it's not fair for our app to be based off of an artist's music, and that app is worth hundreds of billions of dollars or whatever, and then you have artists that are on it that have mad songs that aren't making any money. That doesn't make sense, because the whole point of the app is for music anyway, so without the music it isn't anything. So that doesn't really seem very 50-50 to me from that. So just things like that, and then I'm seeing that it's actually possible to have solutions to these problems. I don't have to just wonder and think about it. I'm actually in a situation where I'm actually learning about how they're making these things. So now how can I take as much knowledge and information as I can so that I can figure out a solution to this? And then obviously it doesn't hurt that a solution to that problem would also be a very successful business that would, put me in a situation to change that, you know what I'm saying, and stuff. So I really just started, like, I wanted, Usic was supposed to be an app like Spotify for undiscovered artists. Basically just remove like the heavy competition. Artists like myself or any independent artist can't compete with an artist like a Drake or The Weeknd or Taylor Swift, who has billions of dollars of marketing going into them and stuff. There's no competition. So if you're on Spotify, there's no way that you're gonna be on that front page before they are. You know what I'm saying? Spotify, they actually have deals with these labels and stuff. And so to me, it was like, okay, well, what if we just had a completely separate platform just for unsigned artists? But it was curated, so it's not just a bunch of garbage, it's actually really good artists. And, kind of like a SoundCloud, but we would want it to have the user flow of like a Spotify or Apple Music. And so that was the concept. And then as it started to grow and evolve, there was more problems in the industry than just that. There's more solutions that I started coming up with and thinking about. And then, then we got into like cryptocurrencies and stuff, and that was something that was very interesting at the time too. And so I just started to see a lot of upside to the information I was learning, and I wanted to be able to bring that to my community, not just artists, but also black people, you know what I'm saying? Because there's also not a lot of us in the tech industry either. None of these Amazons and Googles and stuff are owned by anybody that looks like us, and yet they control all of our stuff, so that was really important to me. We had some like struggles, and like most startup companies, and I ended up moving to Columbus just to save money, and I ended up moving in with my mom and trying to build the app myself with like no money or nothing out of my mom's crib. I would walk actually, because I didn't have a car either, so I would walk to Panera and just work at Panera as if like it was like my office or something. And actually my cousin Lexi was the manager at the Panera too, so she used to hook me up on the bagels. So shout out to Lexi for the bagels. But just to work out of there and just grinding it out. And then eventually we got a studio in Whitehall on the east side that ended up doing really well after, it had some struggles too, but it started to do well. well enough for us to move into an even bigger space that we're in now. That place is doing well, so now we have another studio we're opening up soon in Los Angeles. It's actually in Inglewood. It's called Quest Studios, so it's going to be more focused around still music studio, but with a gaming emphasis on it. So virtual reality, type of experience there. So that's that studio, and then the goal is just to keep doing that. Create these bridges around. Obviously, being from Columbus, I want the headquarters to remain here, but I still want to create these outlets and these bridges around for the artists to be able to utilize. You know what I mean? Like a literal artist underground railroad sort of situation. So, started when I was 18 years old. For those that don't know, I'm 30 now, so it was a while ago. But it was in high school. It was a joke at first. Just kind of just making mixtapes and stuff like that, especially after basketball season. I just needed another outlet for my energy, I guess. And I had always been good at English class and stuff, so writing was never really like a difficult thing for me. And I always, I love hip hop music, especially Jay-Z was like my favorite artist, but Lupe, Talib Kweli. So I was always into more conscious music too. So, but then also at the time, like Lil Wayne was also like at his peak. So I've always been influenced by different types of hip hop as well. And I remember making a little mixtape in high school, and surprisingly, like it actually did kind of well. And some people that I really respected, especially within my family, just kind of gaslighted it, and gave me the confidence I needed, to keep going with it. And I was always, competitive, especially when it came to sports and stuff. And so for me, music was dope because, it didn't really matter how tall you were, or how high you could jump, or any sort of like physical abilities. It was all like as good as you wanted to be, and as serious as you took the craft. And so that was really like my thing. And then, that's when I went into college, and I kind of went full steam ahead when I got to school. So it was with my best friends, obviously, my peer group. So shout out to Solo. I remember we were recording out of his room at his mom's house, and we were like in a closet, and we were using GarageBand at the time or something like that. But also Dink was like another close friend of mine. Slife is what his rap name was. And actually, these are the same guys I ended up starting like we had like a crew, like a rap crew in college, and it was called Yizzo. So shout out to Yizzo and all the fans out there that also know what that is too. And it really just got our start. And that's where I really started taking off, I guess. Business mindset is just understanding that there's a bottom line to everything. So I guess the difference between me, I had always understood that I always wanted to own a business first off. That was like a thing. And when I was growing up, my dad, I'm from a small town. I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, but I'm really from Mansfield. So Mansfield is like 45 minutes outside of Columbus. When I was growing up, my dad owned a music store. And in it, this is in the 90s, so it sold literature and tapes. He's selling mixtapes. I would hear him on the phone with DJs, ordering more cassettes and stuff. Art. It was just a vibe, and it was his. So it was something that I always wanted, for myself. I wanted to be able to own something, but I wanted it to be creative and kind of be what I wanted it to be. And so I think that's kind of like what really got me wanting to be a lot more, wanting to emphasize the business aspect of my music career, if that makes sense. So a business mindset to me is just someone who understands that this thing has to generate revenue, and hopefully to me, potentially be able to give other people opportunities as well. So experience for sure. Yeah. School is cool. To me, I would say that just my reference point is college. So I went to OU, and I grew so much in my craft in college. For sure. I think a lot more than I would have if I would have just stayed home or tried to work and just skip college altogether. And I think that was just because it forced me out of my comfort zone. It also forced me to be. I think naturally I would have I would have been an introvert. As you know, I'm becoming more introverted. I even feel like as I'm getting older, and I think naturally that would have happened a lot sooner had I not been forced into being around people and having roommates and things like that. And I think that it definitely helped me in terms of like networking and all the aspects that you need to really market, not just your music but really yourself. At the end of the day, like as a brand, as an artist of anything, you're a brand, and so you're really selling yourself. And music is just a vessel, an expression and a way for you to be able to reach other people and tell them how great you are, or your thought process and how you see the life and stuff. And other people then gravitate to the people that they identify with, or people that they like. And so that it allows you to do that. And then the business mindset is now, how do you get those people to literally buy into you? So now you can create those opportunities for other people. And that's really what it comes down to. So for me, it all connects. You want your music to do well, and you want to be as creative and authentic as possible, because that reaches the people that are going to buy into you. And then from there now, you can actually create a business for yourself. So, no, not necessarily. If you look at artists like Kendrick Lamar, would you say he's an extroverted artist? Not really. You don't see him at clubs. You don't see him on social media. Like, what is he doing? You know what I'm saying? Nobody really knows, and I think that's what makes him unique and makes people really excited to get to know what he has to say. You have to get people interested, you know what I'm saying? But then once they're interested, it's also attacked to even how much exposure of yourself that you give people. I think that the artists that we admire, we put the most into, or that have the most credibility, are the more reserved artists. Kanye is very reserved, you know what I mean? And then when it's time for him to be Kanye, he's Kanye. Jay-Z is very reserved. We don't know, he doesn't even have social media. We don't know what he's doing, but he has more money and he's more, financially successful than every other artist in the industry. For the most part, Drake is reserved. We don't really see Drake a lot, except for when he releases music, and that's what makes people want to buy his music, because where else can I get to know this person at? You know what I mean? Whereas you have artists that are so focused on exposure and through social media that you don't really feel like you even really need to listen to their music to know that person or to see them. You know what I'm saying? I can just scroll up my timeline and you're gonna be on there talking about something. So I'll just use that channel to connect with you. You know what I'm saying? So just finding that channel, if it is music and stuff, then get people interested, but you don't have to give them everything. Like, you use that. That's what the music is for. So, man, I'm really excited for that. We were actually working on that before we came over here. But for me, and I'm guilty of this, but as much as I would say, I don't have as much patience for the process of an album like I did I would say more so the process of marketing an album like I did when I was in college. And so for me, I'm really just about the art. Like, I really just love the craft of music, and I'm really confident in myself. I like my albums, you know what I'm saying? So, and fortunately, I was able to be business-minded enough to put myself in a position where I'm not solely depending on my album sales to be okay and make a living and stuff. I create opportunities for other people, and in return, that pays me. So now I can just be free and just make music when I want to, and make the music that I actually like without all that pressure of doing it. I used to get writer's block and stuff and get frustrated because now I don't know what to write about and all that kind of stuff, because for me, like, I always have to experience things too. So I need time, I need to travel, I need to love, what I mean? I need to have my own experiences and stuff, so I have something new to say on any album. So that's why I take so much time between them. And I think that in the meantime, it's like, well, then, what am I doing? And if it was just an artist and stuff, you can't take years off to just live your life. You know what I'm saying? Your fans demand so much of you, and you gotta continuously do stuff. So that was never like something that I thought would make me happy in the long run either. So for me, it's just really just taking my time on the project. But with this one in particular, I think I realized and I had an epiphany that I'm just gonna actually go balls to the wall, all in on this one. You know what I'm saying? Meaning like invest more money than I've ever invested on any other project on this one. Actually, I'm very like reserved. I don't shoot a ton of videos. Actually, just shoot a bunch of videos and like really just go full time and with it this time, and not just be half in, half out. Okay, I made the album. Okay, now let me go work on an app or something, or let me go, build something. Like I just get very ADHD, I guess, when it comes to releasing stuff. And so this time I'm actually going to take my time and focus on it and make sure that it at least just gets the exposure it needs, so that people can really see if they like my music or not. I think it's not a matter of nobody likes my music. I just think they don't even know that I have it. You know what I'm saying? So I got a feeling that's deep in my soul. It's more than a feeling, it's something I know. I wrote about 1 million goals, put them on paper and filled them with O's. I might just fill an arena for shows. Maybe I'm rapping, maybe I won't. Based on the season, we see how that goes. It's like I play for a team that I own. I'm like LeBron. CP3, I'll check the books like I'm Suns. I won't retire until I got like 1, 2, 3. Like I ain't your mom. I won't keep one of y'all boys every time I go. Off on a verse that I kinda wrote. I'm off the top like I climbed the rope. We cannot hang if you lying or broke. Ayy. I got the flame and I ain't eating my salary, schmallery, fuck is you telling me? I built a fortune, you Fortnite and hourly, cows with power, wet you like showers. Vengeance is sweet and I'm cleaning my feet, praying for angels and sending a fleet. Bring it with me when you wantin' to meet, offered you mine and you don't wanna eat, act like you smiling but gritting your teeth, built in the tower you live underneath it. I play the forward on defense, offended I'm still undefeated, hard to stay humble when they throwing stones, aim for the stars to see if I'm home. When you this high, they don't leave you alone. Looking for Mars and they missing the throne. Ayy.